Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here this evening to share with you. My name is Blair Mills. I'm a friend of Michael's who has invited me to come and share with you this evening. I'm helping out with the music here at Immanuel, and it's been a pleasure for my wife and I, my wife Carol, to help out with the music from Sunday to Sunday. And we've just been looking forward to getting everybody together in this place so that we can share together. But tonight we do this. We come into your home through the live stream, and it's nice to be with you. I kind of hesitated to share with you folks this evening when Michael asked me, because I'm not really a speaker. I'm a musician that prefers to be singing rather than speaking, but I'm going to give it a whirl because there's a verse that I have here that I'd like to share with you that has sort of been my verse that I've taken as a part of my life, my adult life, and I trust that you will understand what I'm saying when I give you these words. It's taken from 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. But sanctify in your hearts Christ as Lord, being ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Well, I guess I come to you this evening with a little bit of fear, but Michael has asked me to share briefly a little bit about me and what I'm all about, and my life, just growing up, and I thought I would share a little bit, starting with my youth. And I hope it doesn't feel like I'm just telling you about myself, but you get a sense of the passion that I have in my life, and I want to share with you this evening. I want to go back to my youth and start right back when I was born. I was raised in a very, very conservative Christian home, and appreciated many things that my folks instilled within me at an early age. A couple of the things that were really big in my life was that our family really liked to sing together. And we did a lot of that as we traveled from place to place in the car. We did a lot of singing, and we enjoyed that as a family. I took a lot of lessons back in the day. I studied piano and trumpet, and did all those sorts of things that young people do. I sang in the Kiwanis Music Festival here in Saskatchewan, and enjoyed doing those things. But I have to say that the music at that particular time, although it was fun, was not really my passion. I was never really one to want to practice and put in the time that, as young people, most young people are all about. And so I say that to say that if you have a young person that you're trying to get them into music and that sort of thing, push them, work them, because as I look back in my life, I could see a few of the things that happened to me back at a very young age were things that came out later on in life, and those passions were developed later on in my life. So don't give up on your kids when it comes to music. It can be a wonderful thing down the road. It might be a little bit of a push now, but down the road there are rewards to grab a hold of. And another thing that we did, because we were very strong a church family. We were in church every Sunday morning and evening. I sang in a lot of different groups, youth choirs. My dad led the youth choir in our church, and so that really began to instill with me a real passion for music. Singing and playing in different groups, and it was just a lot of fun back in the high school days. The other thing I think when I was young that was a real passion for me at the time was I was really into sports. Anything having to do with sports was my big thing. I just loved hockey, baseball, football, was into track and field, played badminton, and just had a great time doing that. I lived for that. In fact, if I could quit school, that's what I would have done. I would have gone into sports, and I did that for quite a number of years, and still a little bit involved with athletics, but not quite so much. When I got a little older, towards the end of my high school days, my folks sent me to Cairnport, which is not too far from here. Went to high school and got involved in the programs at the high school there for my last year in grade 12, and then actually went back and was involved in the Bible school there. And that was an interesting experience. It was enjoyable, and really opened up some interest for me more in the spiritual realm of wanting to know more about God. And I was challenged quite a bit when I went there. And I had a real tremendous opportunity when I was at Cairnport to travel with a couple of the music groups there. One of the music groups that I traveled with, we just sort of clicked. We were a group of 5 guys. We sang together. The guys had really unique personalities and gifts, and we just seemed to connect and click. And we actually ended up singing together for a couple of years. And even after we were done school, we decided to do a little traveling together as a group, and that really was an important time in my life to open up the whole area of music and the possibilities of ministry and doing that sort of thing. So even when most of us guys got married, we decided to stick together a little bit, and we took our wives on a Canadian tour. It was a summer of ministry, and we had a blast. It was just a phenomenal experience. We didn't have to worry about money because we were just out having a great time, and we just went into different churches singing gospel music, and it was just a wonderful experience. And I firsthand saw God work in a powerful way through us, and I was just amazed that, wow, God could possibly use me for something, and I just really grew from that moment and really had a desire to sing and be involved in ministry of some sort. And my wife was able to have a part in that as well, and just traveling with us, and it was just a wonderful experience. It was right after we got married, so it was a great time. And at that same time, I was trying to get a business going back in Red Deer, where we were married, and where I spent a bit of my high school days. I actually was in the hairstyling business. I had my own business for a few years, and it was learning firsthand what it was like to be a business owner, and having people working for me, and actually was a very positive experience. But one thing that kept nagging at me, I just really felt, I don't know if you've ever experienced a calling on your life, but I really felt this call from God to consider going into some sort of a ministry. And I was, because I didn't have a lot of training, I was just trying to figure out how that was going to look. And I got an opportunity from a music group that was based out of Ontario that invited me to consider coming to sing with them. And after much prayer and talking about it with my wife Carol, we decided to take them up on that offer. And so we moved down there. We loaded up all of our belongings, and from Alberta we made that long trek down to St. Catharines, Ontario. We had one son at the time. Our son was 1 year old back in '79, and we were really kind of stepping out, not knowing what it was going to entail, but we just had a fantastic experience through it all. We had some great people that we sang with, and I had the privilege of traveling with this group for 5 years full time. And my wife stayed at home with our kids, and over that period of time that we traveled, we had 2 more boys, so we had 3 boys at the time, and my wife was left at home while I was gallivanting all across Canada and actually over the world. We were able to sing in a number of different countries, and it was just an amazing experience. Towards the end of that 5 years, it was amazing how my heart started to shift, and I was starting, as I see now, to hear things that were speaking to me. I believe God was speaking to me about considering to move into something new, which I had no idea what it was going to be. And we would be going to different places, and people would say to me, "So how can you leave your kids? What kind of a person are you to leave your kids?" And I was feeling that as well. When we would go home for rehearsal and just working through our music, learning new music, and all of those things that musicians do. I was just feeling the tug that, I just didn't want to leave my family. And long story to just say that different things came up, and all of a sudden I was done with this music team, and it happened very quickly, and almost to the day received ran into somebody on the street, and they were asking if I might consider coming to their church to do the music at a church. And boy, we just jumped at that, and we ended up in a church in Niagara Falls for 3 years, where we worked with the music and worked with the young people, and had a great 3 years with them. And this was just next door to St. Catharines, so we didn't even have to move our house or anything. We just lived in St. Catharines and traveled to Niagara Falls. So it was a great experience being there. I went to school, took some more music training at Brock University, and it was a great time. But as we came near to that 3 years of ministry within the church, we were both feeling the tug to come back west, because our family lived out here, and we were starting to feel quite lonely. The people were great. We had a great experience, but we were missing our family. And so out of the blue, had a call from a church in Saskatoon where Carol and I ended up going, and we spent 9 years, phenomenal years in Saskatoon, in a big church with a huge program. I had the opportunity to work with many choirs, right from kids choirs right up to senior choirs. Got to work with praise and worship bands, developing musicians, singers. I even had a TV ministry that we were doing from the church, and it was just a wonderful experience. And everything seemed to be going well, but 9 years with a huge ministry just seemed to be wearing on me a little bit towards the end. And I wish I would have been thinking a little bit more and maybe ask for a little time off just to relax a little bit and retool a little bit. But I ended up resigning there, and we went back to our home church in Alberta for 3 years before coming out to Regina. We've had wonderful experiences, and God has been good. He's shown us so many different things through the different ministries that we've been involved in. Everyone being a little different, being in the big church with all of the resources that a big church would have was just phenomenal. The people that we met and that we ministered with it was just an exceptional experience. We had some tough times, some growing pains, because whenever you're involved in what God wants you to do, the evil one is there to push and pull you, and we definitely experienced that. But we really sensed that God was doing something in us and through us, and we were excited through most of it. It was a wonderful time. About 20 years ago, we had the privilege of coming to Regina, where we came to a church where I was the music director for about 10 years. We had a chance to develop the choirs in that church. I was involved in small groups and Bible studies and the small worship teams that we were developing, the bands and that sort of thing. And it was a wonderful experience to see God begin to work in the hearts and lives of people. And I could see in young people some incredible things happening in their lives as they began to get involved in music and just began to use their gifts, and how God seemed to be challenging them like He challenged me when I was a young person. Never saw it at the time, but as I got older, I could see how God was preparing me and getting me ready to do some of the things that I've been doing the past number of years. About 10 years ago, we just felt we were just sort of running out of steam, and it was time to, as I'm heading into my senior years, just needing to take a bit of a step back and see what God would do for us and to us over the next number of years. And I ended up going into business with my son for the last 10 years, where we've had a painting business where we've been painting homes, and it was just a whole different experience going from ministering with all these people to, I guess, sort of ministering to one or two people, like a family. And what an experience that was to go into a person's home and just build a relationship with that person and earn their trust, in a sense, and paint their home at the same time. And that's been a totally different experience, but so good for me to kind of step back for a period of time. And just out of the blue, while I was painting, I got a call from a friend of mine who I had worked with, who asked if I might be interested in taking on a choir and helping out with some music in an Anglican church. And that opened the door to us to be involved with All Saints Anglican, where we met some wonderful people, and we've been there ever since. And now, of course, All Saints is a part of Immanuel, and we're looking forward to the new opportunities ahead. I've really enjoyed working with Michael and getting to know him. I have to say, he's my kind of guy. He can be crazy, and that's good, because I enjoy crazy. No, we've had some great times, and as we work on the technical side of things with the live stream that you're seeing tonight, we just hope it'll grow and develop, and that great things can be accomplished as we get better at what we're doing. And I just want to share this one little thing that I did back in the late 80s that really changed my life, and it really was an important part of my whole ministry life, working in the church. I had the privilege of going down to a church in down in the States that was having a church conference on growing your church, and I was just amazed at what the things that they were doing in their church, and it really showed me the importance of doing things well and doing them with excellence. If God has done so much for us, why can't we go the extra mile for Him? Let's use our gifts that He's given us to the best of our abilities, so that when people hear us speak or sing or play, they can say, wow, those people believe in what they're doing. Who knows? They might even be drawn to us to want to join with us. And I believe so strongly that we need to do things with excellence, with enthusiasm, because God has done so much for us. Why can't we do so much for Him? I guess I can say I'm one of those weird guys that enjoys basically all styles of music. And I'm not just saying that. I really do enjoy a lot of different styles of music. And I know there are people all over who have different ideas of what the music should sound like, and you know, the music that they're drawn to. I really believe that we need to extend grace to each other because of our differences and celebrate our uniqueness when we worship together. Amazing things will be accomplished for His glory when we can put aside on occasion the things that we enjoy so that others can enjoy them, and that comes back and forth so that we can just worship God in our uniqueness. At this time of year when we celebrate Lent, it does remind us to return to God if we have moved away from Him. And I want to challenge you, if I can, with this little talk where I've shared about myself, that it's easy to get some distance from God and not really hear His voice. And I want to challenge you to consider just coming back, because God isn't the one who, He is not the one who has moved. So just come back if you've distanced yourself somewhat, and you will see incredible things happen in your life. He is gracious and merciful. He's slow to anger and has much love for all of us. So thanks for this time tonight to share. Been a little all over the map of my life, a little bit, but it's great. I hope you're well and your loved ones are well, and you're enjoying this special time of the year. I want to just read that verse that I read at the start of my little sharing time tonight, 1 Peter 3:15. But sanctify in your hearts Christ as Lord, being ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. God bless.